This is episode number 15, Make the Sacrifice. There are many times in our life when we need to decide to do one thing over another. Many times it is something simple like, should I sit down, relax, and binge watch some Netflix, or should I do the laundry that has been stacking up for weeks? Should I clean the house and mow the lawn? But then there's those decisions that could make a major impact on our life, even if we don't realize it in the moment. For example, have you guys ever had that moment where you had a decision to make, let's just say, to buy something nice for yourself, like a new car or that big screen TV you've had your eye on, or that new couch that would be so much more comfortable than the one that you have now and so amazing when you're binge watching that Netflix? It doesn't have to be a decision about purchasing something, but in this particular example, it's you might be faced with the decision of buying a new car or driving the one that you have, even though the one you have is still drivable. There's no mechanical issues. It might just be old or dated. This is kind of more of a financial thing that we can always talk about at a later date, but these decisions might not seem huge in the moment, like, financing a $40,000 SUV over driving that $5,000 SUV that might be 15 years old. But if you really think about these things, it could be a major decision that you're making, and you might not even realize it, that could change the entire course of your life because of the decision that you made. These decisions could be something like you're putting something off, or you're deciding to do one thing over another. I think the most classic example is putting something off or procrastinating, which we've talked about in a previous episode of the podcast. But usually the decision comes where you have the opportunity to take action on something, or to skip over it or skip past it and take the, it might sound harsh, but the easy road, the easy way out, and just do what, the path of least resistance. You have to, the point here of all of this is the majority of the time, individuals won't make the sacrifice to do the less desirable task, or to not buy that new car and continue to drive the one that still functions just fine, just might look a little dated, or they will, they won't continue to sit on that uncomfortable couch. They want to go out and buy the new one just because it'll look better in their living room, but only their eyes will see it. A lot of us will just give in to the impulse of having that instant gratification of getting what we want. And I have to say that I am a classic example of that. I've been known to see something, a metaphorical shiny thing, or even if it is really shiny, but like a new car or whatever, and then I get it in my mind, I have to have this thing. And I end up, all my thoughts, all my actions, all my emotions go towards getting this thing, and I'm being impulsive, and I'm reacting to seeing whatever this might be, rather than really stepping back and thinking about it. But the idea of having this instant gratification isn't always the right decision. It could be the right decision in some cases, but it isn't always. Making the sacrifice now and doing the things that most people would put off because they may not be as fun as they are is crucial to obtaining your goals that will guarantee that later in life you will live like no one else. You can't live your dreams if you don't make sacrifices, but you can live your dreams if you make the sacrifices today. Now, there's this great quote. I don't know if any of you guys have heard of the guy Dave Ramsey, but he has this awesome quote in this book that he has called Total Money Makeover. And the quote is, if you will live like no one else today, later you can live like no one else. Now, it's kind of like a play on words, and it's a kind of a, it messes with your mind at first when you hear it, but the idea behind this quote is, if you're willing to sacrifice, and while everybody else is trying to live this luxurious lifestyle, and you make the sacrifice to not live this luxurious lifestyle, and you put your nose to the grindstone and really take action on attacking your goals, later you will be able to live the life that you want while everyone else is making that sacrifice because they were too busy living that luxurious lifestyle and taking the easy road. So it's really kind of a cool quote when you think about it, and it's very, very true. And it couldn't be, I mean, it's not necessarily about money or about making certain job decisions or anything like that. It's all about making sacrifice. If you will sacrifice now, you will be able to live the life that you've always wanted later, rather than continuously sacrificing later on, especially when you want to retire. You won't be able to retire because you're going to be, too busy trying to make ends meet because you don't have a retirement fund or anything like that. So keep that in mind, guys, as you go forward when it comes to making your sacrifices. So, I mean, a good way to look at it, and I know I don't want to beat a dead horse here, but a good way to look at it is that instead of having a car that draws everyone's attention because it's so cool and flashy and fast and loud, continue to drive that car that may not attract all the stares so that you can have the money to get your business up off the ground and take action. Excuse me, guys. But if you take the time to really think about these decisions, rather than, if you're an aspiring business owner and you go out and you finance that car for $500 a month, let's just say $600 with insurance, that brand new SUV that you've always wanted, that's $600 a month that you're throwing away to a depreciable expense. That car, every day that it exists, it's depreciating in value, and every mile you put on it, it depreciates. Everything that you do, that car's depreciating, but you're still paying the same amount for the next 4, 5, 6, 7 years that you have it. And that $600 a month, let's say, doesn't go away. That $600 a month, though, you could take if you were to continue to just drive that old car that gets you from point A to point B, but might not attract all the stares. And you could take that $600 a month and you can invest it in yourself and in your business and use that to get you to that next level. So just remember that, guys. Like I said, I don't want to dive too much into the financing or the money aspects or anything like that, but it's just that's a good example that I've lived that example in my own life, where I made a stupid decision about buying a car, and I've lost out on businesses. I've lost out on being able to do certain things because I'm too busy dumping money into something that isn't an investment and doesn't pay me back. So either way, we'll keep going on this one. So sacrifice is a major overlooked trait that all successful people have and utilized to get to where they are. So every successful person you see, whether it be, let's just say Bill Gates, Steve Jobs, who unfortunately isn't around anymore, Elon Musk, there was Einstein, obviously, who isn't around anymore. There's Thomas Edison, but all these people who have done amazing, successful things, or let's just look at any business owner nowadays that is just rolling in it. There's Grant Cardone, there's Gary Vaynerchuk. These people have all had to make the sacrifice, especially early on in their lives, and now they're living the life that many people would be envious and jealous of because they made that sacrifice. Making the sacrifice will ensure that you can make the right steps and take the right steps to accomplish your goals and obtain the life you want. Sacrifice isn't fun, and I don't want to make it seem like it is, but it is imperative. It isn't going to be enjoyable. It isn't going to be easy, but it will be rewarding, and it'll be one of the best payoffs if you can make it happen. If you don't make the sacrifice today, you won't be able to make your dreams a reality. You'll spend your life working to make someone else's dream a reality. So similar to like the business example that we had earlier, but if you're not willing to put in the time and make the sacrifice to make your own dreams come true, you're going to spend your life making sure that somebody else's dreams come true because you're going to be putting in the time into their dream to make them succeed. So make sure that you guys take action and make the sacrifice. Remember this, the wealthiest place on earth is the graveyard. Because in the graveyard, we will find inventions, ideas, and dreams that never saw the light of day. The reason being is because people don't make the sacrifice to bring them to light for the world to see. A lot of times people give up when it's just a thought. They don't even take one step. They think the thought, and then it just kind of fades away and never sees the light of day, and it ends up in the graveyard. So you guys have to remember, you have what it takes. You have what it takes to make the sacrifice and live the life that you want. It just all depends on the decisions that you make. It depends on the sacrifices that you make. You just have to make that decision to sacrifice or not. Whatever the sacrifice may be, that's a decision for you to make. But a sacrifice will be inevitable if you want to be successful. It just depends on what that sacrifice is. So I don't want to, like I said, I don't want to beat a dead horse about anything when it comes to sacrificing. All I want for you guys to understand is that living in the moment of impulse buying or making impulse decisions or taking the easy road will only lead to mediocre results, and it'll end up leading you to a road or down a road to a life that might not be the life that you wanted, or might not be you living to the fullest. If you take the time to put in the effort, make the sacrifice today, later on you'll be living a life like nobody else, and you'll be living the life that you've always wanted. But that's all I got for you guys. I want you guys to go out there and shift gears and live the most positive, happy, and abundant life you can. Make the sacrifice today so that you can live like no one else tomorrow, and you guys will make it happen. I know you will. Have a great day, guys. Thank you for your time.